conversation with a young man that everybody just loves.
I have 4 boys, and I'm sitting there because I sat down with his parents as well, and I'm interviewing and I'm taking notes, trying to say, how do you end up with a Tua? I mean, the kid is just remarkable that he ends up going through what he's going through. He's just one of those guys that has a light that just shines through him. No matter what he goes through good times, goes through bad times. He has a light, and right now his light is as strong as it's ever been. I've been around him very closely for the last 3 years. Just a wonderful kid. He's upbeat. By the way, it's not out of question that he could come back. I know everyone just assumes he will not, but I think there's a shot that he's really thinking about coming back. So that's something to maybe kind of have a ... about. But when I asked him, okay, maybe if you've never played again for Alabama, what's your lasting memory? What's your favorite memory? And he, I go, can I give you mine? He goes, yeah. What's yours? And I said, well, you get sacked, and then the next play you hit Devontae Smith for the game-winning score in the national championship in overtime. I mean, he goes, that's a good one. He goes, now that I'm thinking about it, he goes, I never really thought of that. He goes, Ole Miss this year because Devontae Smith got 4 touchdowns. You know, he's kind of taken a back seat to Henry Ruggs and to some of the other receivers that we have, Jerry Jeudy. So it was his chance to shine, and I was so happy for him that he got his moment. And I was like, that's a Tua answer right there. That's his lasting memory of his career. Is that Smitty got 4 touchdowns and got a chance to have a big moment. So that kind of sums up who he is.
Unreal. Yeah, I mean, 2nd and 26 is what lives in all of our minds, but not his as number 1.
Yeah.
Herbie.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
You got it, man. Take care.
Interesting takeaways from Herbie on his conversation with Tua. He also asked him earlier in their conversation if he would change anything about the way he approached playing, for instance, against LSU, though he wasn't 100%.
I don't think I do any of this differently. As with the LSU game, I don't think I would have been able to look myself in the mirror and say, you didn't play because, you were feeling sorry for yourself, or you just were scared that maybe in the draft, you would get bumped down. Or, I don't know, just all these things. If we had about 6 days or, I don't know, however much, I would have did my best to try and play against LSU. You want to put on a show for everyone, and you never want to see your team put in a situation where you knew you could do something, but you decided not to because of an injury or whatnot. But all of those things out, we've gone through a lot as a freshman class and just as a team in whole. I just felt I needed to be out there for my guys.
All right, back with you now.
More hoops.
How you been?
I've been terrific.
All right, good.
I already know who's going to win the college playoffs, so let's go ahead and talk about the hoops.
Who?
Come on, man. Those Tigers.
Are they? You're going LSU to win it all?
Fear the Burrow.
Fear the Burrow.
Telling you.
Sounds good. You fear the Razorback in basketball right now.
How impressive.
7-0. First time in 22 seasons. How have they done it? Defense. Defense. I mean, look at their numbers,
like that,
right?
Norinoka.
Remarkable numbers on the defensive end of the floor under first-year head coach Eric Musselman. Now they try to go to 8-0 Fish with a game against Austin Peay at Bud Walton Arena. E. Muss in the famous polo. Jimmy Witt is playing some ball now.
He really is. The transfer from SMU is so glad to be back home. Remember, his brother was on staff at Nevada, built a tremendous relationship with Coach Eric Musselman, and right now they are just playing at a high clip.
Witt, 17 points and 7 of 13 from the floor in the game. Again, defensively, they hold Austin Peay to 31% from 3, 41% from the floor, and they are indeed 8-0, like they were 22 years ago. Conzo Mark, Missouri, hosting Charleston Southern. Mizzou 4-0 at home. They've blown their opponents out by an average of 23 a game. Mitchell Smith for 3. Second half, Tigers, though, down by 5, getting late. Xavier Pinson drives and hits the little jumper, so they're down 3. But how about this? 3-point game. Contested 3, Travis Anderson and the Buccaneers go in and beat Mizzou. That's not what you want, Chris.
Well, that's a tough loss, but This man right here has been doing some coaching. We talk about these former NBA players. Jerry Stackhouse stands out just as much as Juwan Howard and Penny Hardaway. Changed the mindset of this team early in the season.
Aaron Nesmith, guys, 24 points a game, 6th in the country. Scored just 16 in this game. Still a good outing. Cleavon Brown hits a 3. Watch Maxwell Evans for a little follow dunk.
Take that. Maxwell taking advantage.
Vandy is 6-2 after getting the win over Buffalo. You want to know why Vandy hired Jerry Stackhouse? Take a listen to this.
I'll tell them, I was them. I was a guy that wanted to go do it myself until I learned how to trust my teammates. You know, it was, again, early on in my career. Yeah, I put up big numbers, winning percentage was down, and then I learned to trust my teammates a little bit more. Winning percentage went way up. I wasn't averaging 30 anymore. I was averaging 23, but it was more wins. So I think that's just, my experiences helped me put real life situations to these guys, and I think their eyes and ears are open, and it's a positive thing for us. But it's about the work and again, trusting what we're doing, trusting your teammates, and these guys really pull for each other. And I mean, this is again, like I said, this is a big win. We'll look back at this at the end of the year and be really proud, because I think that's a tournament team that's going to cause some guys a lot of problems.
I wasn't averaging 30 anymore. I was averaging 23. Come on, Stack. No,
Tell
seriously.
it like it is, Stackhouse. Tell it like it is.
Can you imagine how he did in his interview, right? I mean, this is why they hired Jerry Stackhouse, is it not?
Absolutely. Listen, he's a guy who's proven it on the floor, and now he's proven it getting his guys to believe. Now, how are they getting it done? Their guard play has been tremendous. You already talked about Nesmith being top 6, 7
Give me a little
in scoring.
Saban.
Oh, a little Saban lead. Well, the third leading scoring duo in the nation. And so when you got a guy like Nesmith who can stretch the floor 4.8 threes per game, I think the NBA background has been helpful with the extension of this three-point line. Think about some of the coaches in this league. Musselman off to a hot start. Jerry Stackhouse doing a nice job. If they can continue to develop their front line, watch out for the Commodores.
There you go, sitting at 7-2 in year number 1 under Jerry Stackhouse. All right, more basketball. We have turned the calendar to December. We'll look at the marquee opportunities this month. But I want your top 5 teams that impressed you in November. Let me show you some of the best moments. Let you know in a bit how teams such as Vandy did. Could Arkansas stretch their 7-0 start to 8-0? And Ole Miss had a ranked team at home with an opportunity. Meanwhile, for Missouri, well, we'll just stop there with Missouri. LSU, by the way, home in a massive second half spurt. We'll get through all of this for you. Hi, Damian Fishback.
How you doing, sir?
AKA Fish. Good to see you.
It's always good to see you.
I understand you brought a fishbowl with you.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to get into the fishbowl.
Well, don't tell them everything yet. They got to hang around, Dari Noka.
Let's get to the highlights, shall we?
Let's get to the Bayou. Here we go.
Let's go, Bayou. Going to be Bayou. Kent Lowe,
Woo!
long-time member. 1988, he got to the LSU Sports Information Department. He's going to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Huge congrats.
Huge congrats, and he is one of the best.
He is one of the best. All right, here we go. Aaron Freeman there for New Orleans. This is a tie game. Driving to the basket, Skylar Mays. 10-2 run, put LSU up 2. Second half. Defense to offense?
Yeah. I love the way the LSU changed the way they were playing this basketball game. Struggled from behind the three-point line. Coach Will Wade said, we're taking the ball to the paint, and that's what they did.
How about 7 blocks on the interior there for LSU? You saw Emmett Williams get the block, and then let's go Darius Days eventually for the throwdown. Days had 12 points. 5 Tigers in double figures, led by Emmett Williams, who had 18, and Trendon Watford, who had 18. They go on a 25-2 run to rip this thing apart and give New Orleans absolutely no shot. 6-2 now is LSU. What's your assessment at this point?
Well, I love the way that they played tonight, right? They had a couple of opportunities, were up big against Utah State, not able to close out that game against a ranked team, didn't come out on top. But what I do love is the fact that they're now beginning to gel together. You had a night to where Skylar Mays only had 6 points tonight, but yet his teammates picked him up. That's a huge difference. Skylar Mays, a guy over 1,200 points and 300 assists, so it's good to know that he's got other guys who who can step up. Who were those guys? Emmett Williams, I thought, played well. Javonte Smart, Wofford that you talked about, playing like a McDonald's All-American. So it's good to see that Coach Will Wade has other guys that can step up when Skylar Mays doesn't have his best night.
Yeah, they host Northwestern State on Sunday. Elsewhere, Ole Miss into the pavilion comes 24th ranked 7-0 Butler. Rebels coming off a 41-point loss to Oklahoma State in Brooklyn. Could they get the offense going? Jordan Tucker for 3 for Butler. They were out quickly, 22-8, and then Breein Tyree had to come off the bench and put the Rebels on his back.
Well, it was really good to see Breein Tyree start to play to the level that we thought he could play at all year. We talked about the backcourt of Ole Miss, and so as that backcourt begins to step up, I believe so will the Ole Miss Rebels. Had a win against Penn State, not able to quite come up on top against a very good Butler team who I think is going to battle in the Big East again this year. But I thought it was a quality showing in the fact that they fought. The pavilion was behind them. But these are the type of games, if you want to be playing in March, you got to get, Dari.
Well, this was a team that was down by 14 at one point in the first half. Ole Miss battled back. They got it to within 4 there on the Tyree lane. Tyree, by the way, had 22 points. Butler's biggest lead did come in the second half at 16. Ole Miss made it interesting, but they got away from them at the end. And, oh, by the way, Kamar Baldwin, 31 for Butler, right? So, did not end well in Brooklyn, though they reached the championship game of the preseason of the NIT tip-off. They come home and drop this one. Where's Kermit Davis? What's he saying to his team? What's the message at this point?
They got to keep fighting. They got to keep fighting. And what I mean by fighting is you don't have any easy games on your schedule. Ole Miss, their losses, Oklahoma State out of the Big 12. Outstanding team that I think will finish in the top half of the Big 12. I think they're playing that well. What I did see tonight, finally, though, was Breein Tyree start to play like we thought he was going to play all year. Listen, if you're going to be the guy, the return leading scorer of the SEC, then you have to go up and put those type of numbers up. Devontae Shuler needs to continue to pick it up, but I like the way KJ Buffin and Henson have been playing of late. I still think they have to get inside presence. We talked about that earlier this year. When the teams don't turn it over as much, you've got to find a way to get it in the interior, either off of the bounce or off of back to the basket play. Until they do that, they won't be able to get over the top of these quality teams that they're coming up a little short against.
Good opportunity for them to bounce back on Saturday as Ole Miss will host Cal State Bakersfield. Also in action, by the way, on Tuesday, how about it? Eric Musselman's Razorbacks 7-0. First time in over 20 years. Could they run their record to 8-0? We'll show you. Meanwhile, the SEC now has 3 head football coaching vacancies. Arkansas has had theirs for weeks. Then on Saturday, Missouri fired head coach Barry Odom after his 4th season at his alma mater. His run ended with the Tigers winning at Arkansas, taking their record to 6-6 this season. Then one day later, Ole Miss decided that 2 seasons as a full-time head coach with a 3rd as the interim head coach was enough for Matt Luke. Luke was let go by athletic director Keith Carter. Luke, like Odom, had a short run coaching at his alma mater. I mean, that's an Ole Miss guy through and through and through. Deej, when you heard that Luke was gone, I think a lot of us were surprised. What was your reaction?
Disappointed. Truly disappointed in them getting rid of Matt Luke. And I say that simply because we've had the opportunity to sit down and talk to a lot of these coaches, and they were setting the groundwork, the foundation for this football team. They were just coming off probation. They got a young football team on both sides of the ball. You got a very young quarterback in Plumlee, Ely, and you bring in Rich Rod, you bring in McIntyre, 2 former head coaches to help with your head coach, and you don't give them the opportunity to turn this thing around in just simply 1 year. I mean, I was disappointed in this because I feel as though they were going to be on the rise and have an opportunity to get this thing going.
Yeah. No, and the reported reaction of many of the players indicates exactly what you're thinking there. All right, how about Missouri? What did you think when you heard Odom was done?
Now, this was another tough one because I think if you just look at who Missouri was this year, they really started to turn the corner, especially on defense. They had a top 15 defense in the entire country. I thought they were playing really well on that side of the ball. And then on offense, if you look at their struggles, I mean, we're used to seeing Missouri get better as the season goes on, traditionally speaking. Yeah. This year, that wasn't the case, but a lot of that had to do with Kelly Bryant, the hamstring injury. I mean, they were hurt on that side of the ball. You're not going to find a guy that is Missouri, just like Luke was Ole Miss, as much as Barry Odom. So I don't know what direction they go in now. I think offensively you got to get someone that is a creative mind in there to make a splash. But
kind of would have liked to have seen Cale Garrett for the whole season too.
100%. A lot of adversity these coaches fought through.
All right. All right. Well, there you go. All right. Kirk Herbstreit going to join us in moments. His take on the new